Once again, thank you very much, Dr. Desmond Biddle, and a very good evening to everyone to come to my talk. As the subject pointed out, that what is Nirvana, or I use the word Nibbana instead of Nirvana, because Nirvana is a Sanskrit, and can we attain it? I think it means before coming here, someone said that it's rather I'm going to talk a big subject, because many people say that nowadays the word Nibbana is out of date. But I think people who talk about who think about in that way may not understand the word Nibbana clearly, because if the people, especially Buddhists, cannot understand Nibbana, he is not Buddhist at all, because it's something like, perhaps, please excuse me if I give you a not very good example. If someone come to England, if I ask, do you know where is the Big Ben? I say, no, I don't know. So in this sense, he doesn't understand London at all. So in my view, the Nibbana or Nirvana in Sanskrit is the heart or the core of the Buddhist result. That is why I often say that we need to talk about from time to time. And on the other hand, the Buddha doesn't say anything that without understanding or we cannot attain, we cannot have it. He never said that, because it may be difficult. Sometimes what he teaches or what he taught may be difficult to understand, but it's not impossible to understand. That is why I like to come today. As Dr. Desmond Biddle asked me to come to talk the meaning of Nibbana. There are many details. For example, if you read Abhidhamma, they talk about one part of Nibbana. They use the word ultimate truth, or the high class of the teaching of the Buddha. Or if you read Sutta Pitaka, that talks about Abhidhamma as well. And if you read the book on Vinaya, which means the rule of the monk or the monastic rule, that talks about Nibbana as well. But Nibbana, I like to talk only very short. I don't want to go too far. And the more I talk, the more you confuse and the less you know. So it is better to try to get to the point. I will read my notes first and talks about the Nibbana or Nirvana in the form of the other believer, so that you can understand. And then the way, or in other words, the practice, we can attain or we can have this kind of the Buddha advice, what we need to have. And so my note is this: Nirvana or Nibbana, and the Buddha language. Nirvana in Sanskrit is extinction. There are two root words, nir and vana, which mean the arrow. So the word arrow in this sense, which means that something to cloud our mind, is like an arrow to pierce in our body. So the extinction means that when the arrow on our mind will disappear. So this is that talks about to seed blowing of the fire of hatred, greed, and ignorance. That's one part. Or because the arrow, the defilement of the mind is extinguished. And according to the Pali canon, it is the freedom from tanha. The word tanha means selfish desire. This is quite simple. And Nibbana is constitute the highest and the ultimate goal of Buddhist life. And there are two kinds of Nibbana. The first one, the Buddha pointed out very clearly, Tve me bhikkhave, saupatise nibbana, anupatise nibbana. So the word, the first meaning of Nibbana is the full extinction of defilement, which is known as kilesa Nibbana. In other words, any person among a layman or a laywoman can conquer this kind of defilement, especially hate, greed, and ignorance, completely, but still live. So his life may suffer climate change, hunger, or anything, but his mind never have any kind of problem. This is what we call it saupatise nibbana, which means that the main part, which is rather the human part, can happen to everyone, even myself. If I'm not careful, it can come to cloud my mind. So if I'm careful, I understand that this kind of hatred, greedy or craving or ignorance or delusion, it doesn't come to cloud in my mind. So if I conquer this kind of three main defilement completely, it never come to me again. So anyone had a conquer or get rid of this kind of three main, it never come back again, but still live, suffering physically, but not mentally. And the second one, the Buddha pointed out that the full extinction of the five aggregate, which means the body, feeling, perception, consciousness, and mental formation. In other words, nama rupa, which means the mind and the body, completely conquered by from the main part, hatred and greed and ignorance, and then he died. So that is pointed out that never come back again. So his life blow out like the fire, blow out, which means that no more rebirth, no more suffering, and so on. That is why they have two parts of Nibbana or Nibbana. So the first one is called saupatise Nibbana, which means that such a person conquer or get rid of hate, greed, and ignorance completely, but still live. It's like the Buddha himself, when he attained the enlightenment, after the age of 35 until he died at the age of 80, he still working. If you can remember, he go here and there. Sometimes he suffer from blood draining problem and so on. But Dr. Chiwokomarapat tried to give him the treatment. Until at the age of 80 he died, which means that his life blow out like the fire, never come back again. So the meaning of the Nibbana or Nirvana, according to Anguttara Nikaya, let me read further. The Buddha said, "O monk or O bhikkhu, this truly is peace. This is the highest goal of Buddhism, or the highest goal of the Dhamma and Vinaya. Namely, the end of formation, the end of forsaking every substratum of rebirth, fading away, tanha, which means disappear from oneself, and that is Nibbana. So what is the meaning of Nibbana, which means a simple word, which means happy. But happy had three grades. Simple happy, like we happy every day, don't we? Because this is what we call it a little Nibbana. Don't forget about that. If we don't have little Nibbana, we can go crazy. Because every day, when we have a feeling of hate, greed, and ignorance, but if it doesn't disappear, we have to go to psychiatrists and so on. So that is why the little Nibbana we have, some people say, no, I'm misunderstanding. I said, no. This kind of thing is Nibbana, but it's the first grade we have. But what we have to do, it means that we must improve day by day or year by year. As Christmas Humphrey used to discuss with me, that whoever want to follow the Buddha teaching is not to talk, but to put into practice. It's something like he talks about that the putting Yorkshire is in the eating, not in the discussing. In that way. So the same thing and Nibbana, if we talk about it, or meditation, we talk about it, it doesn't happen anything. So we have to experience. Philippines used to talk with me as well. He said, well, Prakulam, if you just talk, it doesn't happen anything because it can disappear. So we need to put into practice Sila, Samadhi, and Panya. So all of that have to put into practice. So that is why the Buddha further away, he said, well, if there were no escaping from the human life, which is suffer and have many kind of things, so we can't escape this kind of problem. So Nibbana, which means that the situation of our practice, which is the good result of what? The good result of meditation. So if you try to do on the time, it may be not perfect immediately, but it still come one day that we can get what we call the one-pointedness, which means the best result of meditation. That can we get it off the three main of the human defilement, because this is what we call is the result of vipassana practice. That's all. So that is mean that the word Nibbana, which is a Pali word, or the language of the Buddha, or the Sanskrit Nirvana, which means that the extinction of three main human defilement: hatred, greed, and ignorance. That is what it means. If you ask me, what does it mean, Nibbana, which means happy. And happy has three grades. The little one, which is we always have. I am sure you have, I have. Otherwise, it means we get headache all the time. We can't do anything because everything will come, especially nowadays. We live in a high tech, but many things can come to us as well if we are not careful, because we can be clouded by feeling of hatred, feeling of greed, feeling of illusion, and so on. So this is why from time to time we still have a little, even not completely, Nibbana, which means the result of our happy, with the family, with at work, with everything. So that is why the word Nibbana or Nirvana, which means happy, or they use the word bliss, which means deeper than normal happy. And on the other hand, there are many words, the same meaning, the synonym. May I give you this kind of word? So you can use the word Nirodha, which means blow out. Vimokha, which means away from that kind of what we have. And Vimutti, which means completely nothing come back to disturb our mind. And Visuddhi, which means that I used to give a talk in a summer school, which means the purity of the mind. That means, so there are many words to talk about this situation. Nibbana, which means blow out. Nirvana the same, but in Sanskrit, vimutti, which means completely never come back, visuddhi, which means purity of the mind, and vimokha, which means again, get rid of that kind of three main. So there are many things. It's something like when you ask me, how are you? I can say, well, come see, come saw. If someone asks again, how are you? I'm okay. And if somebody asks me again, oh, I'm all right. So there are many things to explain the situation of our happiness or our everyday life. So some people, they talk about in Abhidhamma, they use the word asankata and viraka and asamsara, all of that, because they're rather formal word in English situation. Sometimes, and I say, well, the more you read, the less you know, and the more can confuse as well. So it is better to talk about to one word, stick to the word Nibbana, which means that happy. There are three grades, simple Nibbana or Nirvana like in everyday life, but we need to improve day by day, if possible, to do meditation, samatha, which means concentrate, get rid of any kind of feeling that may come to cloud our mind, or possible, you do with vipassana. The word vipassana, which means to see life at marked by the three characteristics, anicca, dukkha, and anatta, which means that things keep change, but not to worry too much. When it change too bad, we need to be very careful, because if it change too much, it can add to the suffering. But what we call is when we cannot control our change. Nobody can, because if we can control our change, we never die. That is why in this situation, the Buddha said, well, if anyone understands the word anatta clearly, soon they can understand the word Nibbana. Because anatta, which means that we cannot control, the only thing we have to do is to practice meditation, especially vipassana, to get a very good result, that it can be attain or enlightenment or attain Nibbana, the same meaning, but different word. So that it can, that kind of three main human defilement or impurity may not come back. And that is the meaning. And I think, if you don't mind, you please permit me to point it out three kind of comparison. In Brahmanism, that talks about that human life. I'm not sure, it's because I just get the information from the textbook. They say, well, human life come to be born by God Brahma. They keep some part of the human life, which is known as Atman. This kind of Atman is a part of Mahatman. And Mahatman divided into many parts. And this kind of Mahatman, if make mistake, it can be the problem. If do the good thing, there can be accumulate of the meritorious action, and then can be good. And at last, this kind of Atman will return to Paramatman, which means that there is no more, in other words, attain Nirvana on the situation that to live with God Brahma forever. That is more happy, there is no problem any longer. And according to the other belief, they say, well, they pray to God, and then at the end of their life, they can be live with God forever. But according to the Buddha teaching, the Buddha said, well, human life start with, I do not want to go too far, but I'll give you some idea. Start with paticca samuppatta, avicca pattaya sankhara, sankhara pattaya vinyanang, vinyana pattaya vinyana pattaya nama rupang, etc., etc., until we come be born from the womb of the mother, which is not what avicca give right to light, right give right to inner and the outer part collect and then get contact because of the eye contact with the form, have the feeling of consciousness, eye consciousness, ear consciousness, and so on. Until it's born enough, until it's old enough, we be born from the human mother or from our mother that the Buddha said, well, human life starts with avijja, which means dependent genesis, because that's why to think. And he said that this kind of our mind may from time to time get clouded with the human nature. The Buddha said, well, it's not sin, because this is a normal anyone can have. So we need to practice to clear, to understand, especially to practice the mindfulness. Mindfulness, which means be very careful. Any kind of feeling bad or unpleasant when it comes to cloud the mind, we must try to purify, to get rid of them. So that is why the Buddha said, well, attana wa katang papang, attana wa visuddhati, attana akatang papang, attana sankilisati, which means that by ourselves we are happy, by ourselves we are unhappy. Happy or unhappy, we have to do it. No one can give us a happy or unhappy. So that is why the Buddha said, well, we should read or we should attain Nibbana or Nirvana by clear or purify our mind. Because the Buddha said, well, ye chittang sanyame santi, which means that if we careful, our thought, our thinking, our behavior, verbal behavior, physical behavior, and mental behavior. So that means we can improve. We can improve our mind not to be the prey of the hatred and greed and ignorance. You can see, I don't want to point it out too far, around the world, some part of that, the fire of hate, the fire of greed, the fire of illusion, burn. So here, Pete, I don't mean to give you a lip service, but we still okay. Sometimes we need to be worried, but not too much disturbed or anything, because we live in a peace altogether. So that is why I would like to point it out that the way to read Nibbana or Nirvana is the 7 stages. I pointed out in a summer school. So let me give you a very short explanation. The 7 stages of the way to attain the Nibbana or Nirvana is Satta Visuddhi with 7 stages. Sila Visuddhi, which means we must behave well. Chitta Visuddhi, we must be very careful about the circumstances. Titti Visuddhi, look at things in a reality, not in a way that it appears to our eye, but look at the reality, which means the reality in this sense, which means that impermanent, changing, when we cannot control. So nobody can control either, because not only we cannot control. So in this way, we look at the reality. And Kankha Visuddhi, which means we don't get skeptic on our life. We need to see our life clearly as much as possible, because so that we can improve our life. And the next one is the way we should practice the right way, because the meditation had 2 parts. Miccha Samadhi, which means wrong meditation. I don't want to go too far. And Samma Samadhi, which means right meditation. Wrong meditation, it can make you confused, and then doesn't get anything, but it makes you something like confused what to do or not to do. That is why when you do the right meditation, they use the word Samma Samadhi, which means you go to the right way, and then you get a very good result. So this way, that means the only way, according to Mahasatipatthana Sutta, which means it talks about that Mahasatipatthana Sutta, which means the mindfulness of action verbal action, physical action, and mental action. It means have to be in the right way, not in the wrong way. Wrong way which means miccha samadhi. Right way it means samma samadhi. The word samma which means right way. Whatever you may come across, but just steer on that way, and then you can get the result. This is what we call is one day when the Buddha is still alive. There are two monks talk together, which is known as Ratha Vinita Sutta. The word Ratha Vinita Sutta, which means the Buddha compared to the king. King Pasenati have to go to on his business, but in those days, it's not the jet plane, it's not the working train like this. They have to go by the hot rolling wagon. So King Pasenati want to go to do business, have to change 7 times. So the Buddha compared that the king changed the wagon 7 times is similar to the practice meditation from Sila Visuddhi, Citta Visuddhi, Tithi Visuddhi, Kankha Visuddhi, Mankha Visuddhi, and Patipatha Visuddhi, which means the right path. And this monk, one of the chief disciples of the Buddha, I think you know already, Sariputta asked the young monk, whose name was Punnamantani. He asked Punnamantani, what is the meaning of our Buddhist life? To please the Buddha or to please the public? Punnamantani said no. And to be pure for oneself? No. To clear the mind? No. To do the right path? No. And to practice the right thing? No. And Sariputta said, everything I asked you, you say no. What is the right? Punnamantani said, you need to practice the 7 parts on together. That is the way you can receive Nibbana. Not one. He said, well, like the king have to go to the business, which is known, the word Ratha, which means the car, change 7 times and then get the business at the end, because the king lives in Savatthi. He wants to do the business in Saket town. So he changed from this. That's why Bhikkhu Punnamantani said, well, we practice this not only one. One is not enough. Have to practice, and then we get the result of Nibbana, which means 3 grades of happy, no more happy, deeper happy, and completely get rid of hate, greed, and ignorance. I think I should stop here. Otherwise, you think what on earth I'm going to talk about. So it is better to this is very, very short, but I'm sure that when you can understand what I mean. What does Nibbana or Nirvana? How can we go there? And the last word, it means any one of you, not only me. There is no copyright for the Buddha himself. Everyone follow this 7 stages. We can get at the Punnamantani. Bhikkhu said that the whole. You can get some text in here to read more detail. So anyway, you have any question, please ask. Don't be shy. And once again, I'm not an expert because that's what I'm trying to tell you from my class. I'm a conducting class to teach in my temple. And at the same time, as a Filipino often talk to me that I must practice, not just to tell the people to practice. And the monk never practice, So please have any question. It can be to discuss a bit. Things can be clear.